Welcome to another APISECCON. I was talking to Christine. I thought this was like 4 or 5. She says it's more like 6 at this point. But excited to have you all here. And I just roped in Jesse to be my wingman for the kickoff. Welcome, Jesse.
Hi guys, how you doing? Good to see y'all. Looks like we're maybe waiting a couple minutes here. There are some people potentially on the wrong stage. If we want to just give them a minute to
All right. Yeah. No.
just to
Um,
get over here.
Let us know where everyone's joining us from. Say hi in the chat. We definitely have a super international audience here, which we love. So I'm gonna, give a bunch of announcements. We're gonna go through today's sessions. I made a huge mistake. I didn't actually post all the sessions, so it's kind of a surprise, perhaps. But let me tell you, we have awesome speakers. We got awesome topics. We got 2 tracks. So please hang around for some great stuff here. So let me just double check. Are we good, Jesse, in the chat?
I'm
Like,
trying to find out right now. Oh, it looks like stage chat is going off now. So it looks like people are
all
jumping
right.
into the main stage. Okay.
All right, I'm gonna look at stage chat from now on. So if you want to say hi over on stage chat. So we're in the general session right now, and maybe I'll just go right into our next slide here. So this is what today's going to look like. So we're starting with general session, then we'll break into track 1 and track 2. And then we have a little intermission with our friend Jesse here, who's going to be giving us a background. Heads up, Jesse, you still got the loudest keyboard on the planet.
Oh, thanks.
Um,
Sorry.
I love it though. And then we'll break into 2 tracks again, and then we'll wrap up at the end. So um let's walk through the agenda, right? So we're obviously it's noon on the East Coast, it's 9 a.m. here in California. And we appreciate people all over the country, all over the world, signing up, joining us. Who knows what time it is, but really appreciate you all for being here. We got 500 people live in the session already, which is incredible. We're gonna have after me and Jesse, we're gonna have Katie Paxton Fear, legend. We actually have 2 API Security People of the Year presenting today. Katie is our 2025 newest awardee, and she's going to talk about how bug bounty is dead and AI killed it. I cannot wait for that session. So you definitely want to stick around for that. We're going to then break into 2 tracks, and the track 1 on the left is kind of, you'll see a thread, right? There's a lot of MCP stuff going on there. On the right, there's quite a lot of AI stuff, right? And so, it's not surprising, right? There's just been a massive change in how we build and run our apps, and we wanted to make sure we had content to talk about that. So we're going to have Paul and Justin from KPMG Germany, talking about MCP security, attack and defense. On the right hand side, our good friend Darren Shalkuski. I call him the godfather of automotive API security. Absolute, like, brilliant guy, amazing presenter, and always very fun and entertaining as well. Then we'll go to our I guess our 4th session of the day. Balaji and Suman from FlowGen X are going to talk about MCP security for agentic AI platforms. And then on the right side, Teresa from Siemens, our Siemens Energy, I should say. I have no idea what this one's about, but the title's got me hooked. What Stranger Things can teach us about API security. If you've seen Teresa speak here or in person, she's also an API Security Person of the Year. It's I don't know how you're going to pick between all these tracks, honestly. Jesse,
I'm honestly sad that you put Teresa and Balaji in the same hour because those were 2 that I really wanted to watch, but it's okay. I'll live. I can watch one later.
well, it's a great point. Like we do record all these things, right? So if you really are torn, don't worry. Probably by the end of the week, we'll have these all posted, replays. We'll send you out all the links and all that good stuff. And we got Katie is in the chat. How awesome is that? So then we have kind of an intermission, right? So we'll come back here to the general session, and Jesse, our dean of all things fun and awesome over here, is going to show us some cool things, right? So count on Jesse to do some neat things. We're going to tease that a little bit here in a moment. And then in the afternoon or post intermission, Christian Vega from BCP in Peru is going to talk about MCP servers and cybersecurity. He's a really great guy. He submitted a fascinating topic. I was like, I want you on APISECCON. This looks really interesting. We got Ryan Day on track 2. This is a published author of AI topics. And it's really important, right? This one may not be so much of a security topic, but just, we got to understand how AI is impacting how we're building our apps, right? And then understand what the implications are for security, right? And then in our last sort of two sessions, we got Abraham Gonzalez from Everon. This one I'm excited about. Abraham is going to talk about his journey in bug bounty, right? And what's really cool, I'm going to share a little bit from his talk. He started with APISEC U pen test course, and now he's making money. He's finding bugs. He's on APISECCON, right? It's a really cool story, and the stuff he was able to find is really, really fascinating, right? And I think you're going to learn a lot from it. Let me turn off the beeps on my system. Sorry about that. Turn off, do not disturb. All right. And then we got Victoria Marcosian from PartnerStack. When hackers build their own how. Found Victoria. She submitted her talk. Was so interesting. We had to have her on the session today. And then we'll just kind of wrap up, some announcements and all kinds of fun stuff. Okay. So that's what we got. I'm gonna sort of moderate the right-hand side, track 2. We got Christine behind the scenes making sure everything goes smoothly. Jesse, what's your take, man? Like, what's standing out for you here?
I'm super excited, man. Teresa, I'm actually kind of pumped that I got stuck on track 2 for Teresa. I'm really excited to hear her talk. She did some social engineering stuff last year that I just was so fascinating for me. I'm a big fan of that. So when she starts talking stranger things in API security, of course, my ears perk up. But I mean, everybody's so great today. Balaji, like I wanted to see him too. I won't be able to watch live today, but the session he gave last year was phenomenal, especially if you're a technical person. He's so smart, dude. And like the way that he dives into stuff. I mean, everybody that we have today is, but yeah, I think you guys are in for a treat, and you'll definitely want to swing by the YouTube and catch up on some of this stuff afterwards if you don't see it all.
That's what I love about APISECCON. We're frankly so fortunate that these incredibly interesting people just kind of surface and want to share their expertise with you all. So we can't do better than kicking off with Katie, that's for sure. So let's go through some housekeeping, some background stuff. So we do issue certificates of attendance. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to fill out a form or anything like that. We do check like how long you were here and all that kind of stuff. So we'll give you the right amount of hours. So don't just turn it on and go, play golf. Like, we're all here to learn, right? And not just collect certs, right? And I wanted to take a few slides just to talk about what's, what we're still seeing out in the world of API security. And if you've attended any of our breaches workshops and webinars, you've probably seen this. It's, we're still seeing a lot of the same old stuff, honestly, right? This one from Flowwise. If you wanted to reset your password, there was a technique for doing that. And if you did it through the API and hit the reset password endpoint, the endpoint would actually return in the API your reset code. So all I would have to do is you say, I want to reset Jesse's password, and in the response I would get the reset code to reset Jesse's password. It wouldn't go, I mean, he'd probably get it in an email too, but I'd get it right there on the spot as well, right? So I don't know how that feature got in there, but it's, these little mistakes, right, can turn into breaches.
And that's usually what it is, dude. Like the Formula One, I think, is another great example of this year, right? Like Formula One got by the most basic mass assignment vulnerability of all time. Like the very first thing you learn in a lab about mass assignment.
Yeah.
Got us data for, some of the most expensive athletes. I think we can call them athletes in the world, right?
Oh yeah, no, we're gonna hint on that one. yeah, we sort of laugh about this and, oh, how dumb are they? No, it's just, we're all pressed and we're all stressed. We're all under pressure, right? And mistakes happen, right? Swissborg, this is a crypto company. They were using a third-party API from Kiln, right, to stake their crypto, whatever the heck that means. Third party got breached through an API, and basically these attackers were able to steal that staked crypto and sell it as their own, and they grabbed $41 million of crypto, right, that Swissborg had to eat, right, and it was a third party risk, right? This is an interesting example, right? This is just because you're using a third party doesn't mean you're immune, right? Those third parties can get breached, and that can impact you personally, right? As an organization. This is the one that Jess was just talking about. Classic mass assignment, right? This was I think Sam Curry, legend. They apparently, if you're a Formula One driver, you have to have an account on formula1.com, right? Look at this host, drivercategorization.fia.com. So they created an account for themselves, and then I think they just guessed at how to, send a command to give themselves admin rights. Description, admin role, name, admin, ID 1. And it worked, and they got admin rights, and suddenly they were looking at Max Verstappen's passport, at which point they shut their laptops and contacted Formula One, said, you got a problem, and they fixed it, right? And then we had this one, which was quite interesting, right? Because this is, I call it patient zero. Where's Checo? Yeah, right? I'm so glad he's coming back. I'm so excited. Team Cadillac, definitely going to be rooting. But this one, I call it patient zero of MCP attacks, right? And if you've attended any of our new workshops on MCP or taken the course, what's really fascinating is this wasn't a postmark mistake, right? Somebody else made an MCP for postmark, right? To me, that was really eye-opening from Corey's course, which like anybody can make an MCP for anything. And he, in fact, builds an MCP in the course live for APISEC, right? He's not an employee of APISEC or anything. He's, friend of a part of APISEC U, right? And you can even see like his shock at how easy that was in the course, right? He just vibe codes it on Claude Code. And here what happened was the community made a postmark MCP. 1,600 people downloaded it, and I guess it was kind of crowdsourced, and somebody in the crowd added an extra line of code, which I don't know if you can read it here in the yellow box. Every email going through that MCP was being BCC'd also to this attacker, right? They were collecting every email that you sent through this MCP, right? So we're seeing this evolution of app security, right? And so we wanted to evolve as well on APISEC U side. So this is some of the stuff we've been up to since the last time. And I know, Jesse, you got one in the works yourself here. I don't know if you want to give us a little teaser, but before we go there, like we had Ewan on Sec DevOps. If you haven't checked that one out, so interesting, right? Corey's MCP course. We added an APISEC power user course. But Jesse, what you got coming?
I'm working on a course. I haven't got a clever title for it yet, but effectively it's going to be all about what it takes to prop up an API security program at an organization, right? From everything down to a tiny startup all the way up through an enterprise org, the types of challenges that you're going to face, what it means to bring automation in a way that's actually useful, where the human element still relies and why it's still important, all of those sorts of things. So yeah, I'm super excited about that. I know working with orgs this year, I've seen similar challenges across many different organizations. And I think that, for some, they want to get an API program going, but they really don't know where to start. And I think this will hopefully be a blueprint for people like that.
And I just realized we haven't been like posting, or maybe we're about to post some of our clicks. So Brandon, power user course was great. I love to read that. Thank you for that feedback. And it's actually a great segue. Thank you, Christine. You read my mind. Putting the little banner at the top. So one of our announcements for today is we've got a new certification. We're calling it APU Plus. It's built around the APISEC Power User course. So you definitely got to take that course. You want to set yourself up with an account on APISEC.ai, and this will certify you. This is another badge you can collect, a certification. It is paid. I think it's $250, but as always, we like to give people a way to get their hands on these at no cost. So I'm going to show you what you can do there. But this is going to vet your skills, right? Your knowledge on how to test APIs using tools like APISEC. So let's pivot into some of the other stuff that we've been doing. So you might have noticed that, and thank you, Jesse, for helping make these super awesome and get the word out. We've kind of moved beyond just courses. We'll always have courses at our core, but we've started building tooling to help you all out there. And I'd love to get some feedback, right? Are any of you using Bolt? Have you got it installed? Have you been trying it out? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you wish it would do certain things? But what we really wanted to do was give people an easier way to test, right? For as long as I've been in this space, I still am pretty, newbie when it comes to tooling, right? And so, you have to install all these different things. So I don't know, Jess, let me put you on the spot here. Like, how would you describe Bolt and the vision of it and what we've been able to do with it since we launched it?
Yeah, I kind of lump it into two categories, right? I think if you're a pen tester, bug bounty hunter type that likes looking for vulnerabilities, or it's your job to look for vulnerabilities in web applications, Bolt is going to be a really nice, lightweight poke around recon tool for you, right? Because typically you're having to set up your burp proxy, filter all your traffic through there, and it's like a click back and forth type of thing. So the goal with Bolt here is reduce clicks, right? Reduce click ops. If you catch something in real time that you just want to manipulate really quickly and see if, I changed this ID really fast, what's it look like, without having to alt tab or dig through HTTP history or any of that stuff, it's kind of right at your fingertips. So I'm a big fan of it. And then the other thing that it does is it'll not only give you an OAS that you can print from the APIs that you've discovered, or export from the APIs discovered rather, but it'll also, it's in its early stages right now, but we're building analysis into it as well, right? So like you'll be able to see things like, where are my BOLA targets amongst these endpoints? What business flows connects these endpoints? And we'll even, hold on a second. Sorry, something just started buzzing in my house super loud. That was weird.
Well, now we know it's not pre-recorded.
Yeah, right. And now it's live. But anyways, yeah, you can get the OAS, you can get tons of analysis, and we'll actually, we're working towards generating tests and helping educate people on, what they can actually be doing with these endpoints beyond just finding them. Because one thing that we've noticed at APISEC over the last year is, right, like the first mile problem is discovery, but the purpose of discovery is to test, and the purpose of testing is confidence in your security posture, right? So what we're trying to do now is help people bridge between those phases of API security, and Bolt's a great place to do that.
Yeah, and we've been on this journey, and I just see this comment from Dev Exploit. You all think AI will replace bug bounty hunters? Well, you're in the right place, because Katie's about to talk about that. So I kind of curious to find out the answer myself. But back on Bolt, like, we started with just like, hey, can we listen to the traffic? Bolt, right? I should point out, it's totally private. You're not sharing any data with us. But can Bolt listen to the traffic that's already happening in your browser and then sniff out the API calls? And then could it take that and spit out an OAS? That was really like Gen 1 of Bolt, right? And we started adding little features and filters and things like that. But the cool thing last week was being able to add what we call manipulator, right? It's got the little hacker icon. And I'm sure, there are improvements. Like we wanted to add like output formatting, so it'd be easier to read outputs, and URL detections. There's a lot of things we want to do to enhance it, but it turned it from just a recon thing into something you can actually use to test and manipulate. And what Jesse's pointed out is like the next step is we want to like make it even easier to build comprehensive testing, right? To give you that coverage, so where to focus your manual efforts and so forth. So that's
Exactly.
Bolt. It is available on the Chrome store. That URL is impossible to copy. So that's what Christina's put up on top. Firefox makes it easier. So there is also a Firefox. I'm sure you can Google it and find it. So that's Bolt. We would love for you to share your feedback on it. So of course it's nice to get, reviews and makes us, makes the thing more discoverable, but we do genuinely value your feedback. It's what helps us make it better. So if you're willing to do that, take a few minutes, try it out, use it, and then share your feedback in a G2 review. Christine, can we put the G2 review link up? Where the heck is that? I'll bring it up. There we go. So that link at the top will take you there. Well, and send us an email or something. Let us know that you've done that, and we'll send you a code to take the APU Plus course free. Right? That's you're welcome to do that. We'd really appreciate your feedback there. So that's how you can get your hands on APU Plus for free. Okay. All right. What else we got here? So MCP Audit. Why don't I let you run us through this one, Jesse?
Yeah, MCP Audit's really cool. So effectively, it was a tool currently open source now, built by our engineering team. And the idea behind it was, we were all of these like MCP workshops are going on, and MCP, everyone's talking about it. And so we tried to understand, what are orgs actually doing with MCP right now? And we learned that the answer for most of them was trying to figure out who the heck is using them. So this is our effort to solve that first mile problem, right? It'll scan through your repo, look for common files associated with MCP configurations, dig through those MCPs themselves and look for things like what permissions you have access to, whether you were sourced from somewhere that's reputable, so that you aren't using a homegrown MCP by mistake, that sort of stuff, right? So yeah, a great way for security teams to, if you want to run through and make sure none of your devs have OpenClaw coding, video game ROMs or something in the background on company time. This is a great way to figure that out.
It's definitely, I'm going to pop ahead here to our workshops. You're probably familiar with our API security workshop, which is still very popular. We added an MCP workshop. And what was really interesting is, first of all, when we started doing these in November, December, most of the orgs we were talking to, I'd ask them like, where are you on MCP? And most people are like, yeah, we're not really doing very much, but we just want to stay ahead of it. Right. In January, February, it feels like a whole different ballgame. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Like organizations are like, no, we're building them. Right. And we're using them. Right. And Dirce, I hear you. Like, I'm all MCP'd out. I hear you. But I think this is just a wave that's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And so, I myself, like, I'm addicted to vibe coding. I've now got 2 MCPs installed in my environment. I got N8N and Supabase, right? I bet like a year from now, I'm going to have like 20 MCPs, right? It's just like superpowers, right? Just like, we're just adding all these fun new things. And what's really interesting about MCP and kind of scary, like if you take that postmark MCP, right? Like they didn't build an MCP, right? The community did, right?
Mm-hmm.
Take N8N, right? This is my own personal experience. Like around December, I was like, man, it would really be nice if there was an N8N MCP, because then I could plug it into Claude Code and I wouldn't have to do all this back and forth and copy paste or whatever, or importing files. And lo and behold, N8N released an MCP. But like any smart, cautious company, they only released a lightweight MCP. It only did execute and read. Right. But really, that's not what I want. I want edit. I want to be able to create and debug and, have Claude fix an N8N. Right. And so they have this lightweight, dip the toe in the water MCP. But meanwhile, the community created another MCP that does everything, right? Including the scary, risky stuff, right? Like delete and, whatever. Right. And so there's this tension now, right? Like I have to admit, I went and I installed the community one and I'm rolling the dice because it could be harvesting tokens or, copying all my code, right? But, I feel like it's probably legit, but I
We hope so.
I could be wrong, you know? So, you know, I get the like MCP'd out stuff, but like the community's going to drag organizations into it.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and it's really interesting to me the way the conversation has formed around this. I totally agree with what Katie said in chat earlier, right? Like at its core, MCPs really just enabled us to use APIs really, really fast. That's mostly what's going on, right? In
Oh,
an
I was
automated fashion. So I'm glad to
spot on.
hear people I respect saying the things that I'm, you know, the conclusions I'm coming to always makes me feel reassured.
I was going to steal Katie's slide where it's the Scooby Doo thing and they
Yeah.
hold up the hat
So
and
classic.
it's
Yeah.
just APIs. It's still APIs, right? But you know, our VP engineering, Raj, he kind of pointed something out to me that stuck, and I wonder if this analogy, if I got it right, you all keep me honest. Like when you integrate an API, it's kind of like integrating a hammer, right? It does a certain thing, right? It hits a nail, right? But when you integrate an MCP, you're integrating like a carpenter, right?
Hmm.
And this carpenter it has knowledge, can
Yeah.
make decisions, it can, you know,
He can
choose
see
to
all the
build.
hammers on your job site and swing them where he wants.
Well, there you go, right? You can really extend the analogy, right? But it is still APIs at the end of the day, right? That carpenter's still going to use a hammer to drive nails, but it's making its own API calls, right? So it is still APIs at the end of the day. So um, I do want to give a little shout out to what we all do here at APISEC.ai. We aren't a nonprofit, but we run APISEC U as freely as we possibly can, so you can all take advantage of all this knowledge and goodness. The business that we are in is API security testing. We're here to try to automate that, and this is a little shout out to what we do. And if any of you are looking to, you know, get to automate more of your API testing, get better testing, more coverage, more sophisticated coverage, that's what we do, right? And we'd love to give you a tour and show it to you. But basically, in three buckets, we help you discover, find those APIs, whether it's through Browser Bolt. We have a thing called Code Bolt that Jesse, I think, is going to talk about. Documentation, gateways. We bring it on in. The meat of our tool, I'll show you on the next slide, is where we auto generate and fabricate really sophisticated, comprehensive testing, and then we give you insights. We find these vulnerabilities, and what I think is really clever about the way we do it. A lot of people ask, like, how do you compare to like a traditional DAST or something like that? I come from, you know, that world, vulnerability management. I was at Qualys and other companies. Like they look at your app like it's a URL. I'm going to just blast it, right? I have this library of things. The way we look at your app, it's really getting that full picture, that full context, right? The documentation, the user flows, the payloads, the parameters, the responses, right? That's how you get a complete picture. And then you know how to do logic attacks and BOLA and data exposure and all these kinds of things. So that's it. That's the plug for what we do. If that resonated with you, I really would love for you to come check it out. Jesse, I always got to give you a place to talk about Discord and everything we got going. We got like minute and a half before we're going to bring Katie onto the screen.
Yeah, I'll talk about it more during intermission, but Discord's awesome. It's a great hub to talk with like-minded kind people who all just want to level up and do great things in this space. We do CTFs, we do bug bounty hunting, we do, you know, typically bi-weekly educational sessions in there with members of the community. We have a bunch of ambassadors that are always doing awesome stuff. Yeah, come in, say hi, get involved. We've got a bunch of exciting stuff planned this year in terms of content for people. We're trying to make our own labs. We're trying to get some community development projects going that our ambassadors can contribute to. So yeah, fun stuff planned this year. And, you know, you can come share memes with me and Katie too. So that's fun.
And I've got to give Afan a shout out. I know he's here in the chat. He helps make Discord awesome. And last slide here. I don't know if any of you noticed, but we finally, after 3 years, you know, gave APISEC U site a little update, a little refresh, all care of Lovable, right? So our website's now all vibe coded as well, right? We used to use, I don't even know, Webflow. So much easier now. I just tell it like change this, add an extra course, and it takes care of the rest. So let us know the bugs. I'm sure there are like missing links or icons that don't make sense. And with that, it says 9:30 on my clock. So Katie, I'm gonna bring you up on the screen.